Like as a prospect, right? There are some of us who feel like Shedeur Sanders doesn't have a big arm, doesn't have elite size, doesn't have elite speed, doesn't have anything that is an elite trait. And then that's a fair assessment, right? There are some of us that feel like the gap between Cam Ward and all of the other talent in this draft is a wide gap, right? As far as from a talent perspective, right? And then the gap between Shedeur and the other quarterbacks that might be considered top picks, such as Jackson Dart, is a very, very subjective gap. A very, very subjective gap, right? But the one thing that really has bothered me, and I was going to do a short about it, but I said, you know what, I'll wait till I go live, right? The one thing that has really, really bothered me about the Shedeur thing is the way that some of these people who work for these teams are putting this narrative out there like he's this arrogant dude. Like there's a huge difference between arrogance and confidence. And I don't understand, and I've been saying this, and I know that this is my third or fourth time talking about this, but it's every time they make a story about this kid, it pisses me off. I don't understand why he has to dim his light to make everyone else around him feel like he's like supposedly humble. Like, first and foremost, right? There's a certain level of humility that I think he shows through his actions, right? I think the fact that he went to the combine and supported all of his teammates is huge. I think the fact that when everybody was dogging Will Howard, he was the first person to defend him on Twitter. I think the fact that he went to the East-West Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl, not the Senior Bowl, we went to the Shrine Bowl to support his teammates and to get them looked at. I don't understand, bro. This guy's always been a leader. This is a guy who had teammates who were walk-ons, and he helped them get housing because he has resources. But what I think the bigger problem is, and this is the quiet thing not being said out loud, I think the bigger problem is this. You have guys that are scouts, you have guys that are coaches, you have people that are interviewing this kid that watch Shedeur Sanders walk around with their life savings around his neck. You got people that are upset with the fact that the metric has changed in college football and in sports. The metric has changed. Whether you like it or not, the metric has changed, bro. These guys are not coming here trying to make life-changing money. They're leaving college with life-changing money. And couple that with the fact that besides the fact that Shedeur Sanders has made life-changing money on his own, he comes from money. He comes from money. Let me say it again for the third time. He comes from money. He comes from a lineage of a player that is the one of the 1%. He's probably one of the 15 best players to ever play in this league. This is who he comes from. So for you to feel like he doesn't have like he's, I don't know. I don't think, like, when you grow up in this to feel that Shedeur Sanders is going to have this level of wonderment with the process, it's not going to happen. It's a kid who grew up with an NFL dad. He grew up around the game, bro. He ain't impressed by none of this. I just think, I think there are two things here. I think that the construct of people that are in charge and decision makers in sports at large are very uncomfortable with these young men making their life savings from a college dorm, making more you ever seen in your life in a college dorm. They're also uncomfortable with the culture that they come from. They're uncomfortable with that. And the thing is that if you're uncomfortable with the fact that he's being his authentic self, you the one that need to change, because he shouldn't have to be a player or code switch to make you feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, it's about the people in that locker room, whether they feel comfortable with Shedeur Sanders. And let me tell you something. Those are the people that he's going to be throwing the football to. Those are the people he's going to be leading.